How much would you pay to get the thing you're selling in front of 1,000 new customers? $100? $50? What if you could do it for $1? Facebook is still the world's largest social network with 3 billion active users. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you how one stupidly simple Facebook ad makes it possible for even complete beginners to rack up a steady flow of extra sales. This is the same sales hack a Florida man called George used to get started on Facebook ads. And it was his first step to making millions. Let's see if it can do the same for you. Ah yes, I almost forgot. There's also a free bonus section where I reveal the exact steps to making your first money-making Facebook ad. So grab a pen, you won't want to miss that. As George scrolls through Facebook, he sees people with products way worse than his crushing it with their ads, while his sales trickle in slower than a snail pushing a stone up a hill. He wonders, why am I sat here watching everyone else succeed when I could be doing the same thing? Now, George would be the first to admit that he's no marketing genius. He's never even thought about running an ad before. But one day, after looking at so many successful businesses with crappy products, he decides to give Facebook ads a shot. And this one simple decision is about to change everything for him. George is ready to jump into the world of Facebook ads. But here's the thing. He's not exactly swimming in cash. He starts to wonder, how much is this going to set me back? Do I need to sell a kidney or something? Then George stumbles onto what seems like a crazy idea. What if he could run his first ad for just $1 a day? Now, I know what you're thinking. A dollar? What can you possibly get for $1 these days? Well, hold on to your hats, because we're about to dive into the little known strategy of kickstarting your sales with $1 a day advertising. See, when you start advertising, it's smart to begin with minimal ad spend to get some data and hopefully make your first few sales. Think of it like dipping your toe in the water before diving in head first. And the low budget Facebook ad option we're about to discover can often be more effective than traditional marketing channels like print, radio, and television. Why? Because it lets you target specific groups of people, even in specific areas, without breaking the bank. So, let's rejoin George's story and see how he stumbles onto a weird but highly profitable sales hack. George feels good about his $1 a day idea until he hits a wall. He opens the Facebook ad manager and his brain screeches to a halt. Traffic, engagement, leads. What does it all mean? Frustration creeps in as George feels overwhelmed. He hovers over the close button, ready to quit. Then, bam, he spots something. Brand awareness ads. He doesn't know it yet, but these ads are perfect for newbies like George who just want people to know their product exists. And here's the cool part. These kinds of video ads can help hundreds, even thousands of potential customers make an emotional connection to you and what you're selling. Without needing to spend a fortune or even really understand how Facebook ads work. Brand awareness ads are perfect as a first Facebook ad, and when you do them right, they can be a great place to start a friendly chat with potential customers instead of having to give them a sales pitch. So George decides to give them a shot. He makes a quick video about his product. Nothing fancy, just George being George, talking about his product like he would to a friend. He focuses on clear language that speaks directly to what his audience needs. Within hours, George's ad is out there. People are watching. They're learning about his product. And get this, on day one, his video gets over 1,000 views. For George, it feels like he's made a massive breakthrough. And here's the kicker. George doesn't realise it yet, but this simple branding ad is about to snowball into something much bigger, like planting a tiny seed that grows into a mighty oak tree. Now George's ad is out there in the wild. He's excited, but also sweating bullets. What if nobody cares? What if his product keeps collecting dust? The first few days are slow. A couple of likes, maybe a heart reaction or two. George stays glued to his ads manager, refreshing it constantly. Then, boom, a comment on his ad. Someone wants to know more about his product. George's heart skips a beat. This is real. He answers their questions, and before he knows it, his first sale. It's not much, but George is over the moon. He's thinking, holy moly, this actually works. So, George makes more ads and raises his budget a bit. He starts figuring out what makes people engage with his ads and what makes them scroll on by. His sales start adding up. First $300, then $800. Before he knows it, he's hit over $3,000 in ad sales. George is pinching himself, wondering if this is actually happening. But you know what? Businesses that solve urgent problems grow fast. And George is living proof. Now, George isn't quite there yet, but he's on his way. He starts reinvesting his profits into more ads. He creates different kinds of campaigns, reaching more people. Of course, it's not always smooth sailing. Some days are great, others not so much. But here's the thing about George. He doesn't give up, and that's crucial. He keeps finding new ways to present his product that resonate with his audience, which helps him sell more. See, making money from Facebook ads doesn't need to be complicated. Yes, there are lots of settings, And Facebook does give you almost too much information about your ads. But it's important to know this. The only thing that you really need to do is understand the people you're trying to sell to. What do they care about? What pain or discomfort are they in? What's stopping them from going from A to B? A lot of businesses mess this bit up. They think to sell more, they just need to shout about their product louder than anyone else. But they forget that we're just people selling to people. And people want to be heard, understood. The good news is once you find a way to show your audience that you understand their pain, it gets a lot easier to present your product as the best, maybe even the only solution to their problem. A good way to picture this is you don't want to be the guy trying to sell sand in the desert. Instead, you want to be the person selling umbrellas in the rain. See, by figuring out a way to present your product or service as aspirin for other people's headaches, you'll find yourself selling to an ever-growing number of people desperate to give you their cash. Which brings us back to George. As he makes more ads, George is beginning to figure out what information his audience wants to hear and how to talk to them. And it's paying off. Soon, his business is pulling in thousands every month just from ads. And that simple $1 a day ad, it got the ball rolling to him eventually making 7 figures a year. Now's the fun part, where I walk you through the exact steps to launching your first sales driving ad. I'm going to try to leave nothing out, so even a complete beginner can follow these steps and a few minutes from now get their first ad in front of 1,000 potential new customers. Let's get started. If you don't have a business manager yet, this is a place where you can run your ads from, then go along to business.facebook.com and create your business manager account. This is a very important first step. Log in with Facebook, could be Instagram as well. Once you're logged in, then you will see something that looks like this. You maybe will first come into the account overview, then go along to campaigns. This is where we're going to make our first ad. Now, obviously, there's a difference between us making the video for our branding ad and us making the actual ad. We're going to do the kind of technical side first. And once we get up to the bit where we upload our video, I'll probably show you how to make your own video. I think that's probably a good idea. So let's click create. We're going to go here. Now, if you remember earlier in the video, I mentioned there's lots of different objectives, lots of different campaigns that you can run. Many of them are, well, if you're a beginner, reasonably complicated. What we're doing today is the easiest, I think, of all of them, and that is most likely to get you the results that you're looking for, get you in front of your ideal customer, start a conversation, and hopefully start some sales. So we click awareness. Now, it's not called brand awareness anymore. I think in the old days it used to be. I've been doing this for quite some time. But you can see here, it does mention that this is good for brand awareness, as you can see there. So we click awareness. Also worth noting, Facebook's always changing. Like the way that it looks when you go to your business manager may be slightly different. So don't worry if things look slightly different or even different. Just do the things I'm doing and you should be fine. So click awareness, Maybe they changed the name again to brand awareness. It's all the same thing. Click continue. And then we have our new awareness campaign. So we can call this something like promote my product, something like that. Promote my product. And then maybe branding. Can't type. Then maybe branding. And you could maybe put the date if you wanted to. All right, so we're not in a, normally most people watching this won't be in special ad categories, so we don't need to worry about that in most cases. Leave everything pretty much the same. So we're going to leave it in the auction. We're going to have the campaign objective awareness. We're not going to choose advantage budget. Turn it off if it's on. We're not going to do A/B tests. Turn it off if it's on. Then click next. Then we're going to have something like my first video ad. Yeah, and then maybe the date. Okay, like the actual date, not the word. And then we're going to leave most of the settings the way they are. So maximize reach is pretty good. You could, I actually tend to go with this one. I don't think it matters hugely. I tend to go for recall lift, which basically means people are more likely to remember seeing your ad. Seems like the right thing. Like there's a lot of opinions on this kind of thing, and I would say it's not as important as it may seem, but I tend to go for the recall lift. If you don't have a Facebook page, I'm not going to do that in this video because it's just going to take too long. I recommend just going along, staying on YouTube after this video, search for how to make a Facebook page, or go to Google and do the same. It's really quite straightforward. But let's assume that you've got a Facebook page. You'll select your Facebook page. You'll leave pretty much everything the way it is. We're not doing dynamic creative. Set your daily budget. If you want to set it to $1, set it to $1. It says here you'll spend an average of $1 a day. Some days might be 80 cents, another day might be $1.20. It says here at the moment, and these messages always change, the maximum daily ad spend it will spend off that $1 budget is $1.75. But over the week, it will spend close to $7. Put your start date there. I don't recommend an end date unless you desperately want to. Don't need to worry about any of this at this stage of the game. So, location. Okay, my browser just froze then, so I've changed browsers. We're going to change location now, okay? It will normally just show up the location where you're based. I'm in the UK, so it shows the UK. But we're going to go for a different location here. Let's go back to the US. Let's go to Florida. So you can pick a state like Florida. You could go even more narrow. So if you wanted Fort Lauderdale, for example, you could just do Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, and you can click your how far, what kind of radius you want outside of the location that you've chosen there. So I don't recommend reaching more people unless that makes particularly sense to do so. So if you have a very narrow audience in a very narrow location, uncheck that in most cases. Again, maybe not the hugest of considerations, but I normally turn things off like that in Facebook. Advantage audience. Yeah. Now, every time I come here, this looks a little bit different. So be ready for this to be different for when you do it. But I'm going to go back to the manual options. Use original audience. I feel more comfortable using the manual ones. Let's just have a look at everything now. So we're doing Fort Lauderdale, Florida, plus 40 kilometers. The age range here, maybe you're selling something that mostly older people buy, right? So let's say your audience is over 35, like 95% of your audience is over 35. It's absolutely fine to target from 35 plus, maybe, I don't know, retirees are not your audience. So maybe your audience is 31 to 60, 35 to 60 or something like that. That's also fine. I tend not to give my ads an upper limit, but in some cases it makes sense. Not in many, but in some. You may find that you only want to run ads to males or females. Funny thing about that is, though, is sometimes people discover that although the thing they're selling is for women, men buy it for their wives or partners, and the opposite can also be true. So I often start my ads showing to both male and females and then see what happens. You can always change things later on. Targeting, again, this is a little bit of I'm trying to make this very, very easy for your first ad. Let's say you're selling a camera. Let's see if we can find people who are interested in cameras, photography. All right, so let's have a look at that. Bearing in mind I've picked a pretty small location, Fort Lauderdale, and I've got how many people here? I've got 500,000 people. It's a pretty good audience size, okay? So that's fine. You can just leave it at that. If I'm selling a camera, I can use my interest as photography. If I'm selling, I don't know, something for dogs, something for cats, like so many people have dogs and cats, you may not even need to pick an interest. If I'm picking something niche like essential oils, okay? Now, not everybody likes essential oils. So essential oils. Let's see what comes up. All right, so this isn't great, is it? This is just people who are employed by doTERRA. That's a big essential oils brand. That's not good. So maybe I pick something like meditation, because people who like essential oils tend to like that kind of thing. So meditation, that's a really small group. So then probably when I've got a situation like that where I can't find an interest that really suits, I'm just going to go what they call broad, and I'm just going to target everybody. Okay. Again, we just want to get our first ad made. We don't want to get bogged down in the details too early. Otherwise, it's very easy to lose yourself in all of these finer points. Okay. So let's stick with the camera one for now. Let's say I'm selling cameras. So I'm going to go cameras photography. All right, cool. So placements. Let's leave that, okay? If you're making your first ad, just leave placements exactly the way they are. There are pros and cons to that approach. In this particular example, let's leave them exactly the way they are. It's not the most important thing yet. Okay, so I'm going to make this my first awareness ad. Okay. My Facebook page is automatically selected. I could do this to show it on Instagram as well. I'm going to create the ad. I'm going to go with a single video. You see, you can use images for brand awareness ads. I just don't recommend it. Like, we're trying to connect with our audience, and the best way to do that is the way I'm doing this now, by looking at the camera and talking to you. So single video, we don't want multi-advertiser ads. A lot of these pre-populated options from Facebook are not good for you. Don't ask me why, but when in doubt, uncheck. I tend to spend most of my time unchecking on Facebook. So destination, where are we going to send people? So that's a good question. Where are we going to send people? If you've got a website, you can send them to your URL. So in my case, it would be mikeorton.com. All right. I don't know if I need to put in the www. Let's click preview, see what happens. No, don't need to put that in. All right, brilliant. So that takes me to the website. If I wanted to link it to my kind of clients page, then it would be mikeorton/impact. So then I would just drop that into there, and that would then update the URL. Click preview just to make sure. and that's going to the correct page. Brilliant. If I'm promoting a product, so let's go back to the camera one. Let's type in camera. All right, so who's selling cameras? I'm in the UK, so let's have a look at this. Digital cameras. This UK store, SLR. Let's have a look at this. Then I'm probably going to point to the actual page of the thing that I'm talking about in the ad. So here, let's go to this. So this has got a very specific URL now, a very specific website. So I would go along to here and I would change that URL to that very long, very specific URL. But I'm not doing that, just to show you that that's what you would do. All right, you can choose other options, but I'm trying to make it easy and as impactful and as profitable as possible. If you've got a website, I'd send them to your website. Again, let me know if you've got any questions in the comments about the options that are here, but I don't want to get too bogged down in all the different options that you have because there are many of them. We're going to select our creative once we have it. This might be a good time to make a video. Should we do that? Should we make a video? Should I show you how I would make my first branding video if I was in your position? I think that's a good call. So before I do that, we can start thinking a little bit. We can use this opportunity to think through what do we want to write under our video. And when we do that, we're also probably thinking about what we can be talking about in the video. All right, so when we're writing the text that goes with our video, a lot of people seem to work off the assumption when they're doing this that they don't need to write very much because they've made a video. And while there are no hard and fast rules for this, the approach I tend to take is we like to write pretty much the same amount of words as we speak. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but something long that's helpful, that's informative to your audience can be good, because while most people prefer to watch a video, some people prefer to read. I'm one of those people. So this is a pretty good way of doing it. What I've shown you here is like a template for how you could write your first ad, and it could also be used as a rough script for your video. The first thing we want to do is not shout about how great our product is. Okay, that's the first mistake that a lot of people make, even very experienced advertisers make. They say things like, we've got this amazing thing. It does X, Y, and Z. And nobody cares. Nobody's interested. What they're interested in is they've got a problem. Okay, they've got an issue and they want to fix it. So what do? We talk about their problem. Okay, then once we've talked about their problem, we talk about how the product or the service that we're offering helps them. And we make a nice long list of things we do to help ease that pain. Okay? Then maybe we talk a bit about the features. Okay? Nothing crazy. Okay? We don't need to go into minute detail. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. Then we have what's called a call to action, where we say, go along to my website and learn more about the camera. Okay, so like a soft call to action is often a very good way to do this. And then your headline is going to be something like this. You see, Facebook does all of these for you. I don't tend to use them, but you might look at it and see if they do a better job than you do. So your headline is going to be something like this: How people with pain are getting benefit, right? That's a pretty good headline. Obviously, we're going to change the word pain and change the word benefit, but that's the structure for your ad. And it's a pretty good structure for your video as well. And call to action, learn more, is a pretty good one. I wouldn't worry about all this too much for my first ad. We're getting into the weeds a little bit here. For my first ad, I'd be like more focused on, do people engage with my video? Do people comment on my video? Than all of this tech stuff here. Like, you can run a successful branding ad without understanding all of this. Ideally, you would, but it's not the end of the world. We're looking just to get started here. So I would ignore all this for now. And let's start thinking about planning our first video. I'm going to move on to a different window. I'm going to think about the best way of helping you write the text that goes on your first ad and create the script for your first branding video. That will be your platform then for making 1, 2, 3, or maybe even more branding videos and seeing which one of them really resonates with your target audience, starts a conversation, gets engagement, and hopefully generates some sales. So let's move on to preparing for the video and maybe even making the video. Okay. All right, so let's think about how we can plan our video and also write the text that goes along with the video in our ad. So let's stick with the camera example. Let's call out our people that we're selling to without making it like too shouty. So we could say something like this: how amateur photographers. Now, you're going to think a little bit about how you're calling out your audience here. Is it amateur photographers? Is it camera lovers? Lots of different ways you can describe your audience. So how amateur photographers who are struggling, here's the pain, to, what could they be struggling with? So this is where we can use either ChatGPT or Google to figure things out. And let me just press pause and show you how I would do it. All right, so I've decided to use ChatGPT. You might use Google. I'm just a big fan of AI these days. So I'm typing into ChatGPT, what do amateur photographers struggle with most, to get a bit of an idea of their pain points, yeah? If you're selling cameras, you'll probably know. But if you're selling something that you've never sold before, then AI and Google, these are your friends. So, mastering composition and framing, getting the technical aspects. Whoa, it's gone. Yep. Mastering manual settings, composition and framing, lighting, equipment understanding. Let's have a little look. What jumps out at me here? So we're selling a camera. So is any of this useful? Composition and framing. Getting the perfect picture. Knowing. Okay, so maybe a better question. What do amateur photographers struggle with most? That is it DSLR? Yeah, that a DSLR camera can help them with. So this is the beginning of my ad, and it may also be the beginning of my video. So how amateur photographers struggling to create natural looking photos in low light conditions are ditching their iPhones and not swathing, but switching to a camera that's perfect for all situations. And then I might say something like the name of the camera, maybe. Here. So the Canon, and then the name of the camera. The Canon is built like no phone in the world. I've stuck with the phone comparison. This isn't brilliant copy, but it's certainly good enough. The Canon camera is built like no phone in the world, because it offers, and then we can think about more benefits and maybe a few features as well. All right, so I want to think about some benefits. So what I've done is I've gone along here to the website and I've looked at customer reviews. And we're going to use this to try and get some more benefits. So what do people say? They say, perfect package for new learners. Okay, so let's use that. Put that in there. Super easy to use with ready-made settings with help for some of your shots. Good enough. Perfect starter camera for beginners, like that. In fact, I like that better than that. So we'll swap that over. What have we got? All right, so now we've got quite a long list of benefits. And the nice thing about this is it's not in our words, it's in customers' words. So this is language that will resonate with your audience. So how amateur photographers struggling to create natural looking photos in low light conditions are ditching their iPhones and switching to a camera that's perfect for all situations. The Canon camera is built like no phone in the world because it's the perfect starter camera for beginners. This camera is super easy to use with ready-made settings. This camera is, and we can do it as a quote, super easy to use with ready-made settings to help with your shots. As other customers have told us, assuming these are your customers' words, the best entry-level DSLR camera, a wide choice of accessories and lenses. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's lighter than my last one and 3 times the pixel size, so much better for larger photos. All right, and then we can put in a few features maybe. So, copy that there, put that into there. So 224 megapixels, whatever that all means, built-in Wi-Fi, okay. To see if the could be the camera you've been looking for, but just didn't know it. Head over to our website to see it in action. And then you can put the URL, the link, inside your ad as well. Don't be afraid to put the link inside the ad, not a problem. So here we've got our pain. They're struggling to create natural looking photos in low light conditions. That's our pain. We've got tons of benefits here. We've got some features here. And our call to action is here. Okay, so we're going to put that into our ad. All right, so copy that. Get back over to the ads manager. Paste that into there. All right, so how amateur photographers, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so we want to do our headline. All right, let's see what Facebook came up with. That's not good, is it? That hasn't updated. Maybe that'll update in a minute. No. Okay, that's all useless, not a worry. So we need to do this shorter because it's a headline that will only fit in a certain amount. So let's copy this. Let's go into ChatGPT. Please make this headline, tell him it's a headline, as short and punchy as possible. Let's see how ChatGPT does with that. All right, so this is an interesting one. This is pretty short. So let's copy that and see what it looks like. I'm not convinced, but let's try it out. So iPhone out, DSLR in. No, don't like that at all. So let's lose that. So how to take this camera, or let's say take the perfect photo, no matter how poor your lighting. No matter how poor the lighting. So is that too long? That's showing up here. So let's lose the word take. So the perfect photo, no matter the lighting. All right, so that works. So the perfect photo, let's capitalize it and then put a comma in. No matter the lighting. How does that look? The perfect photo, no matter the lighting. Does the headline match the first line? How amateur photographers are struggling to create natural looking photos in low light. Ditching there. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of good. It's not brilliant, but it's good enough. So then what you're going to do is you're going to make your video. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go too deep on this one because this is going to end up being like a 30-40 minute video just on the tutorial. So how would I do my video? I would start off by saying this in my own words. So let me pick a prop. This isn't a camera, but let's imagine it's a camera. I would have my camera in my hand while I'm talking to the phone, talking to the camera right now, okay? And this is how I would start. I would be looking at the camera. I'd be holding the object that I'm selling, assuming that it is an object, and I'd be saying about people's pain. I'd follow the same structure as you've got here. First thing we want to lead with normally is the problem that people are having. We're not leading with how great our product is because nobody cares. We're going to say, a lot of amateur photographers struggle to create natural looking photos in low light conditions. And then I might give some examples, such as outdoors at night, such as in a bar at night, such as at a barbecue in the evening. Okay, a few different examples of when those low light conditions might happen. And then I'll talk about how you get to the benefit they're looking for. You say something like, the reason for this is they're using a lot of the time iPhones that just aren't suitable for these low light conditions. The solution, if you want a really good photo, is a DSLR camera, namely this one, the Canon 2000, I'm having to read this myself, 2000D. And then you talk about why it's good, why it helps people, and you can basically use this as the structure for your video. You don't need to say the exact same words. I don't recommend rambling. Stick to the points, make your video, don't worry too much about it. The main thing is people can see the thing that you're selling, and you're starting with their pain and taking them to the point where they can see, you know what, if I get this camera, I'll finally be able to take the photos that I want to take in low light conditions. And then you would say something like, to see how the Canon 2000D camera can help you make the perfect photo, head over to our website where you can learn more and see more about how it works in those low light conditions. And that's your call to action, okay? Once you've got your video, then you're going to go over to here. You're going to add media, add video. You're going to go, now this might look different when you come to this, okay? Don't panic if it does. Here's the camera, here's the add text that you wrote already. Then you're going to go to media. Well, let's just click next if it doesn't want to do it that way. All right, so here's some very old videos that I shot a long time ago, less gray on the beard. So you would, if it's already here, then you would just select it. If the video isn't here already, then just click upload. Go along to wherever you've got that video. Click the file here and upload it like that. All right, so then you'll have your video here. Let's just add one of the videos that I've already got there. Doesn't matter. So let's just click that one there. You can cut it if you want to trim, take some of the beginning off, take some of the end off. That's absolutely fine. I'd leave this probably just the way it is. That's absolutely fine. And then you've got your first video. You've got your video, you've got your text. All right, so then you're going to put in the destination. So you're going to put the URL here like that. You can preview the URL like that, just to make sure it's going to the correct place. Sorted. And you've basically done it. Then you're going to click publish. Okay. Then you've made your video ad. That's basically it. Done. That will go live ordinarily in a pretty short time. Mostly Facebook will approve your ad within an hour or two, maximum a day. Okay. These days, I've rarely seen it take a day, usually just a few hours, but don't panic if it is a day. And that's pretty much it for making your first brand awareness ad. Now, I know you may be thinking, is it really possible to generate so many sales from Facebook ads? But here's the thing. This is a real story, and George is a real person. When I first met George, he was desperate to make more sales, and he kicked everything off with a simple video ad that told a little about how great his product is at solving his customers' problems. Businesses that start small with Facebook ads often see these first Facebook campaigns grow into something much bigger. The secret sauce? Getting started. Even if you're only putting in $1 a day, you never know where that first step might take you. I've seen it time and time again. Every success story starts with that first simple ad. So, why not make today the day you kick off your own success? Or maybe you're ready to learn the strategies that create long-lasting, super profitable Facebook ads. This formula took me many years to learn, and now it's yours. Click here to watch it now.